Hey girl, are your healthy habits all over the place or non-existent? Do you wish you could find true food freedom, move your body for joy, and really just talk a little nicer to yourself? If you have tried to habit hack your health, but the strategies you've tried just haven't worked for you in your busy lifestyle, then this podcast is for you. Hey, I'm Emily Nichols, habit and fitness coach, behavior change specialist, and Taco Tuesday enthusiast. Hey, I am here to tell you there is an easier way than what we've been taught about our health and our habits. How do I know? Well, because I've transformed my own life through habit hacking, and now my family gets the best of me, and I now help my clients do the same. I'm now going to teach you how to create healthy habits in less time, guilt-free for all seasons of your life. It's not your fault your habits haven't worked, my friend. We just have to do them differently. So, are you ready to feel empowered and transform your habits and life? Then let's do this. Hey gang, welcome to this week's Habit Hack Thursday. This week is all focused around that mindset fundamental need and is really inspired by my own forgetfulness lately. Oh my goodness, I heard a term for the month of May that it's like May-cember. Have you heard that too? Kind of like December is such a crazy time, just with the end of the school year, new schedules coming up, doing all the last minute, gifts for the teachers, helping your kiddos with finals. My oldest still has golf practice and all of the end of the school year stuff. We're having a bunch of kiddos actually to our house for a big pool party at the end of the week. So I got to make a big Costco run. And I feel like I'm being very forgetful. Like I'm forgetting a few things. And it really makes me think back to a term I heard and felt like for real when my babies were newborns, when I first became a mom, and that was mommy brain, right? I feel like you've probably heard of that and felt that too. Like it's almost like a rite of passage, right? Giving a name to memory loss and brain fog that you feel when you're pregnant and postpartum. As I was doing some research for this episode, studies show that up to 80% of pregnant women report a degree of subjective memory loss. That's a lot. That's a lot. And I think after we have our kids, it just keeps on continuing from there because we carry on so many tabs open in our head, so many loads, invisible loads that we carry as moms. I think even if you're not a mom and you're listening to this, you are a professional working woman, you can feel this too. You're definitely going to relate to this episode as well. I talk about this a little bit more in my super secret private podcast series, Atomic Habits for Women. Go listen to it. It's a 5-part podcast series. It's linked in the show notes where I want you to go listen to it and have like a big aha moment as far as why we have to do habits differently, how we have to see health differently, and a system you can follow that I teach in all of my programs. I kind of give you a little preview of that in the private podcast series. So we all know about Atomic Habits. It's one of my favorite habit books by James Clear. However, I like to give a twist on it from the female perspective because I think his book is fantastic. I do a lot of my habit coaching based on that and what I've learned through my behavior change specialist certification. But there's an extra layer to it I think we're forgetting, and that is from a busy working mom's perspective. So we have so many numerous responsibilities to juggle, and I just think that leads to increased forgetfulness. And that can be a habit that forms in itself. So let's break down a few reasons why we may experience forgetfulness. We're going to talk about a few ways to improve your forgetfulness. And then lastly, I'm going to give my biggest habit hack to help you habit hack your forgetfulness, okay? If I don't forget by then. So let's talk about it. Here's a few reasons why we may experience forgetfulness. The first is cognitive load. Oh my gosh. There's a combination of work-related and family and home responsibilities, constantly switching roles, right? I'm like, okay, I'm wearing my mom hat. Okay, I'm wearing my coach hat. Okay, I'm wearing my wife hat. Okay, I'm wearing my work mode hat. And we're managing like multiple tasks at once, right? Multitasking is bananas for real. And it makes it harder to retain and even recall information, right? We talk about this a little bit more in the Atomic Habits for Women's podcast series, where we're talking about all of the external and internal distractions that we have. Number 2, I think this is a big one, and sometimes we forget this one. It is lack of sleep. Balancing work and family can really result in less sleep, right? Sleep deprivation can impair your cognitive function, including memory. So it becomes even more challenging to concentrate, absorb new information, retrieve, oh, I totally forgot I had needed to do this or that. So get some sleep, y'all. So we'll talk about that in a moment too. Mental and emotional exhaustion, right? We're juggling work, parenting, household responsibilities. It's emotional, right? So fatigue and stress can really pack on and affect our memory and make it more difficult to really focus and retain information. Like, I feel like, I just said to my husband the other day, I was like, sometimes I feel like I am just overstimulated, especially after I coach a class. Most times I drive home in complete silence. I don't want to listen to a podcast. I don't want to listen to music. I want dead silence to let my brain recharge. It's mentally exhausting sometimes, right? Next is lack of time for self-care. So a lot of times we just don't prioritize self-care. We prioritize the needs of everyone else and all of the shoulds we should be doing for work or home. And that leaves quite little time for self-care. We actually talk about this more in the Mindset Habits Accelerator, how to really see self-care differently and make the time for it. You won't find the time, but you can make the time for it, okay? And we want to see it differently. And then lastly, something I think we need to all realize is hormonal changes. Your hormones fluctuate throughout the month, right? And it can impact your memory and cognitive function. And those hormone levels can affect neurotransmitters and brain regions associated with memory processes. So give yourself a little grace, right? Give yourself a little self-compassion that it's okay, right? This is why as women, we have to do habits differently. So let's talk about a few ways to improve your memory, reduce forgetfulness, and then I'll share my biggest habit hack with you next. So let's talk about get organized. Establish systems to help you stay organized and manage your tasks effectively. Use calendars, planners, digital apps, reminders that pop up on your phone and calendar. I'm a big fan of this. I teach in all of my programs to do a Sunday planning session. So the whole week is lined up. You have notifications, you have cues and triggers lined up to do said activities so you don't forget. Okay? It's the worst feeling in the world, right? When you forget, or like, oh shoot, I forgot my kid had to be here by then, or I totally forgot this project was due by tomorrow. I need to send this email. Set yourself up for success. If you take 15 to 20 minutes to do that on a Sunday, it's going to save you big time. Of course, create habits and routines is my next one. So establish some consistent habits and routines that maybe you tend to forget. Like repetition and consistency can really reinforce those memories and make it easier to remember, right? We have our routine and flow builder workshop available in the shop. It's actually available with the Healthy Habits Accelerator bundle as well, because I'm a big fan of routine blocking to help eliminate that decision fatigue and have some type of themes throughout your week. Next, create mnemonic devices. I think I'm saying that right. So mnemonic devices kind of help you remember by associating it with something more memorable, easy to recall. So acronyms, visual images, rhymes to help you remember important details. Okay, friends. Let's be real here for a second, okay? There are so many energy drinks out there that are only focused on giving you the jitters before a workout. And I don't know about you, but I hate that feeling. Well, not Fit Aid Energy. Fit Aid is boosted with 200 milligrams of clean caffeine from green tea, never the synthetic kind, so you never get that jittery feeling. And plus, it's only 15 calories per can. What I love is that they're not claiming that their energy drink will help you to burn fat or make empty promises. You put in the hard work, and Fit Aid will help energize and refuel so you can do it again tomorrow. And unlike many other energy drinks, Fit Aid Energy maximizes your athletic performance by focusing on both training and recovery, which I am all for as a trainer myself. So go grab one of the amazing Fit Aid Energy flavors, and you can save 40% off plus free shipping on your first order of 24 cans of Fit Aid Energy. Just go to drinkfitaid.com/habit hack. All right, friends, let's get back to the show. Next is to obviously get enough sleep. Prioritizing sleep is going to support optimal cognitive function and memory. Manage that stress. We already talked about it. Stay mentally and physically active, okay? Engage in activities that stimulate your brain and body, okay? I have started doing the Wordle every day. My husband is like a Wordle whiz. He does all these like Wordle, Wordle. I don't know what they're called. It drives him crazy because I waste letters all the time on it. But it's so good for your cognitive function to do some type of little mental game like that. And it's fun to do because I kind of compete with my husband, or my 15-year-old does it as well, or my 11-year-old helps me with mine. He's kind of like me. He just throws letters away, and it drives my husband and oldest crazy. But do that. But also physically active. It shows when you are, doing some type of regular exercise, it helps you in your memory. Okay. And then lastly, minimize distractions. Oh my gosh. Just in the time I was recording this, my dog wanted to go outside and then come right back in. I was getting texts on my phone. I had to silence everything and eliminate distractions. So I didn't even just forget what I was doing right now, what I was talking to you about. Okay. But remember, this takes time. It takes practice and patience with yourself to consistently apply some of these things we just talked about today. But here's my biggest habit hack. We're going to talk about this further on Monday, because the habit loop is going to help you stop forgetting. It's going to help you stop forgetting with very specific tasks in mind. Okay? So, what is the habit loop? This is step number 4 in the method that I teach inside of my free Healthy Habit Reset Masterclass. Go check it out. But it's step number 4. And inside of all of our accelerators, this is where we dig super deep into habit strategy. I actually provide over 20 habit loops inside of each of the accelerators. Those are my mini courses focused around mindset, movement, or food freedom, or you do all 3. Okay? So the habit loop is a cue, routine, and reward. Okay, there is some type of cue that leads you into doing said habit inside of a routine, and the reward is how you feel on the other side. Okay, this is the framework that will change everything for you and help you stop forgetting. So let's use an example. If you want to consistently take your vitamins every day, and this is something I have always struggled with until I used a habit loop. Okay, so let's use a cue, routine, and reward. So a cue is like a really specific trigger to tell you like, okay, it is time to do my habit. So for me, my cue is having my supplements laid out by my coffee pot, because without fail, I will make coffee every morning. I will make coffee every morning. It is a ritual that I love. I savor it. Having that first cup of hot coffee before I forget about it, and it's nice and hot. It's the best. I love the whole ritual of it. I tie a lot of habits actually into making my coffee because it's something that I do and I enjoy, and it makes it easy. So my cue is actually having that physical bottle of supplements laid out by my coffee pot. The routine from there is taking the vitamins, taking my supplements. The reward is after completing, this routine, this habit, I am super excited for myself. My reward might be from there, like, oh, I'm going to drink an extra cup of hot coffee, or I'm going to put like a fun little creamer in it that is enjoyable. Or actually, I'm just going to dig deep into the feeling I have right there and be like, oh, gosh, I am so proud of myself. Way to go, me. And that's going to build up confidence in yourself over time. And having that system in place, it may seem like it's difficult, but it's not. It's so simple. That is so much more simple versus just hoping for the best that you hope to take your vitamins every day, right? So think about something that you're forgetful about and how you can do a cue, routine, reward around it. That Sunday planning is a really great example as well. So every Sunday after, you clean up the dishes after dinner, that's your cue to then plan for your Sunday. Do your Sunday planning for the week. The reward is, wow, I feel more organized and on top of things. I'm not going to forget anything. Go me. Okay. So if you consistently follow that cue, routine, reward, habit loop, less forgetfulness is going to happen. Okay. And you're more likely going to remember to do the things you want to do for yourself and stop forgetting and beating yourself up and build confidence in yourself. Okay? Simple as that. A habit loop, a cue, routine, reward, keeping in mind some of the other things we talked about today. My friend, it is not your fault. Your habits haven't worked for you. We just have to do them differently. Of course, go listen to my private podcast, Atomic Habits for Women. I love it when you all listen and you message me and you're like, oh my gosh, yes. Like, I want you to have that aha moment and realize that as women, we have to do habits differently. And that is what I'm here to help you to do. Okay, everything I talked about today is linked in the show notes. Upcoming on this Monday's episode, we are going to dig a whole lot deeper into the habit loop because that is something that is going to be life-changing for you, my friends. So I can't wait to talk to you about it then. I'll see you there. Hey girl, real quick before you go, did you know I have a secret podcast where I talk all about why most habit strategies don't work for us women? Spoiler alert, it's not our fault. Visit bit.ly/atomic habits for women. It's linked in the show notes to access my secret podcast series and have your biggest aha moment about why and how women have to do habits differently. And if you love the podcast, the number one way you can thank me is to leave a rating and review in iTunes. That way more mamas can find the show. Love and appreciate you, friend. We'll see you next time.